Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much to ISRO, particularly for the warm welcome and the hospitality. We're very happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation, and it's great to see so many people registered for the event, both in person and online. I think that shows how important it is for this meeting to come to India this year. So I'm going to give a presentation on the Group for High Resolution Sea Surface Temperature and explain a little bit about the background, who we are and what we do. My name's Anne O'Carroll. I'm the GHRSST Science Team Chair, elected by the Science Team, and my organisation is EUMETSAT in Germany. I lead the surface temperature radiometry activities there. And the presentation is also together with Chiara, who's the GHRSST Project Office Coordinator, and you've seen her online. Unfortunately, she couldn't come at the last minute this week, and Chiara's based at the Danish Meteorological Institute. So the GHRSST mission statement is to provide operational users in the science community with sea surface temperature measured by the satellite constellation. So this also includes important aspects such as climate monitoring, environmental monitoring, and other cases where sea surface temperature is important. It provides a framework for sea surface temperature knowledge and data, best practices for processing uncertainties, and it brings sea surface temperature to operational users in science. So GHRSST has been around a while now. As you know, this is our 24th meeting. It originally grew out of a GODAI pilot project back from 1997 to 2008. So GODAI is the Global Ocean Data Assimilation Experiment. So GHRSST is an open international science group. We welcome anybody to participate who's interested in sea surface temperature, particularly satellite sea surface temperature. It coordinates research and operational developments in satellite-derived sea surface temperature and promotes the application of satellites for monitoring SST by enabling SST data producers, users and scientists to collaborate within an agreed framework of best practices. So the organisation of GHRSST, it's led by elected international experts, the International Science Team. I think we have between maybe about 60 members now. Chiara can correct me on the exact number. It's organised into technical advisory groups and task teams, and these are focused on particular challenges and activities. And the data processing is performed by GHRSST data producers and data assembly centres, combining satellite and NWP fields in common data formats for ease of access and analysis. So we have the GHRSST data specification, which is followed when you hear GHRSST format or GHRSST specification, it's really referring to the GHRSST data specification. Anyone producing sea surface temperature data in the GHRSST data specification is a GHRSST data producer. GHRSST itself doesn't produce or disseminate the data. It's really a coordination team. So any organisation is able to produce GHRSST specified data, and any organisation is able to disseminate data in GHRSST specification. And this is why we're particularly looking forward to continued coordination with ISRO and India on these aspects. So this diagram explains a little bit how GHRSST is organised. So the GHRSST International Science Team is at the core of all the activities. The GHRSST Project Office coordinate those activities, with Chiara leading the coordination activities. We have a GHRSST Advisory Council, which is made up with main GHRSST stakeholders advising the activities of the Project Office and the Science Team. We also have links with CEOS. So there's a GHRSST virtual constellation, which is co-led by Christo Witto and Ed Armstrong, who are both in the room today. We also have a few technical advisory groups leading on the main activities on the data services, the climate data records, analysis and intercomparisons, estimation and validation groups. And within all of these activities, of course, it's important to always take care and consider ongoing user requirements for high resolution sea surface temperature. There are many different GHRSST patrons and sponsors. This is updated quite frequently as we get new organisations joining in with the activities. So in short, GHRSST provides a framework for sea surface temperature knowledge and data sharing, best practices for data processing and assessing uncertainties in the satellite SSTs, and is a forum for scientific dialogue, including how to provide SSTs to operational weather and ocean forecasting, climate studies, and bringing SST to operational users and scientific researchers. So we also have a few dedicated task teams. These are intended to focus on specific questions and issues. They have a certain set of objectives and tasks to work on. Once completed, the idea is then that if there's no need for that task team to continue, if it's completed all its activities, it will shut. So these are not ongoing indefinitely. They've got specific roles they want to complete. So these are ranging from climate questions, the matchup database for GHRSST products, feature resolution, shipborne radiometry, cloud masking, high latitude SST and coral heat stress, etc. So the GHRSST International Science Team meetings, these run annually in different locations. They've been hybrid events for the last few years, and they're open to all those using and working and interested in satellite sea surface temperature users and producers. And they're set up in the format of an international SST users symposium to be as open as possible. So we've had many different meetings. This is the 24th meeting so far, many places, and this is the first time we've come to India, so we're very happy to be here. So the next meetings, just so that you have the dates and that you know when they'll be happening, the next GHRSST meeting, GHRSST 25, will be hosted by Environment Canada in Montreal in June next year. And the following year, GHRSST 26, will be hosted in Copenhagen by DMI in June 2025. So now we have a few slides on GHRSST talks and capacity building, so I'll hand over to Chiara for the next few slides.
Thank you, Anne. So it's my pleasure to be presenting here some of the capacity building activities. I hope you can hear me well. There is a bit of an echo from my side.
Yes, it's fine.
Okay, excellent. So basically, I just wanted to point you at some activities that are very open to scientists of all levels, but especially early career level from all over the places in this country, in this world. So we have one of the formats is called the GHRSST Talks. And these are relaxed meetings, an opportunity for scientists to present their results and communicate about their science, their achievements with a specific focus on sea surface temperature. You can also volunteer for these kind of events, so you can follow this link and you can just get in contact with us. And we're very welcome to schedule one of these talks. It's a way to practice the presentation of your results and also to get in contact with the GHRSST community and also to try to create links within this community. In the next slide, there is another format that we can also present. Yes, and this is a mentorship program that we started this year. It's also a support that we offer to early career researchers all over the world in learning more about satellite-derived sea surface temperature products and the use especially of the GHRSST formatted products. There is a possibility to apply for this 12-month program. You will get a mentor, basically, if you're interested into enrolling for this kind of activity, and you will be involved a bit more than a normal person in the GHRSST community. But the idea is actually to bring you together with one of the members of the science team and to make sure that there is a possibility to start for you to work in an informal way in this community, and then maybe to enter into another world of opportunities in terms of vacancies and posts in the organizations that are part of the GHRSST network. In the next slide. Yes, we have also a number of training opportunities that we are setting up gradually now within GHRSST. There's going to be one of these modules in Ahmedabad on Friday afternoon. The registration is now closed, but it is something that we will repeat online and on-site in different locations, always combined with a symposium. So in the next year, there will be a training modules that you can attend in, for instance, in Copenhagen, but also in Canada. And basically, we have structured the training formats in different modules. These will be both MOOCs, but as the colleague was mentioning before, so this format is an e-learning format, but with also some sessions in person alongside the symposium. And I think this is all that I wanted to say. The next slide is a wrap up about us, so you can contact us anytime. I just wanted to point out that our activities at DMI are funded by the Copernicus Funds. So this is a name that you have seen several places in several slides, and also through EUMETSAT. So thanks a lot for the colleagues here. I think this is all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chiara. So now I'll just note the main activities of the GHRSST Project Office. So they provide support to the science team and the science team chair. They support the task team activities. The GPO organises the GHRSST annual meetings, organises capacity building activities, and maintains the GHRSST documentation. This is all available from the GHRSST webpage. And there are also a few GHRSST social media accounts where you can keep up to date with the latest information. So what does GHRSST do? So this just has a little bit more of information on satellite sea surface temperature. This is just a reminder. The GHRSST mission statement is to provide operational users in the science community with the SST measured by the satellite constellation. What is SST? So this is quite an important diagram for our group, and it's important to just go through it a little bit. What are we actually measuring and what are we actually observing? So it's quite difficult or maybe impossible to measure the actual interface temperature between the ocean and the atmosphere. But obviously this is an important parameter where the energy exchange happens. For satellite infrared radiometers, what we're actually observing is representative of a depth of about 10 microns. So for satellite infrared radiometers, this is typically what you would measure. So these would be referred to as skin sea surface temperatures. Then for microwave radiometers, what we would observe is something around 1 millimeter in depth. So these are referred to as subskin sea surface temperatures. There are also SST depth. So this is more representative of a depth around a drifting buoy depth that you might use to compare your satellite data with. And we also have the foundation sea surface temperature. So this is typically a nighttime measurement free of diurnal variability. It's also the temperature that's typically used for level 4 analyses products. So, for example, from those from Ostia or CMC, or from the Australian products, or the Copernicus level 4 products. During the daytime and during the nighttime, we have slightly different behaviors. So it's a simple case during nighttime. But during strong winds or daytime during light winds, then you can get diurnal variability and warming of the surface ocean. So then you get a slightly different behavior there. There's also this skin effect where we have a slightly cooler skin SST compared to the temperatures below due to the energy losses to the atmosphere. So when you're producing your SST data, or you're using your SST data or validating it, it's always very important to consider what you are actually using or looking at and how you would validate it. So we all know that sea surface temperature is important. We know that there's been global mean temperature rises are increasing. Sea surface temperature is important for atmospheric circulation, circulation of oceans, ocean biogeochemistry, and climate change. So slide on sea surface temperature in 2023. So this year has seen extreme warming of the oceans. We're all aware of that. There have been many marine heat waves all around the oceans, and we're now seeing record sea surface temperature anomalies for 2023. So this really emphasizes the importance of the activities of this team and everything that we do. And we have a dedicated session related to this and some discussions on Thursday morning. So back to the beginning, early sea surface temperature measurements. So the first kind of charting of sea surface temperature in the North Atlantic currents occurred back in the 1770s, where the Gulf Stream was first mapped. Moving into more modern times, drifting buoys were started to be more frequently deployed in around the 1980s. These have increased a lot, so these are coordinated by the WMO Data Buoy Cooperation Panel, but these are a key use of data for our validation and also combining in the level 4 products. There are various different platforms for measuring sea surface temperature from space and from the surface. We have the polar orbiting infrared radiometers, also the polar orbiting microwave radiometers, and from a geostationary orbit there are infrared radiometers. There are also now increasingly infrared hyperspectral instruments available on geostationary orbit that can also observe sea surface temperature, and we already have some products in GHRSST specification from those. I've mentioned already drifting buoys. There's also sea surface temperatures from moored buoy platforms, research vessels taking observations and also providing shipborne radiometry observations of skin SST. I've mentioned already diurnal variability, so this just shows a nice plot on how this happens. So temperatures at all depth collapse to the same value before local sunrise, but you can see quite large discrepancies due to diurnal effects, especially when there's low wind speed and high insolation, and it's possible to get these even at high latitudes. So a little bit more on the GHRSST Regional Global Task Sharing. So there'll be a presentation by Jean-Francois Pielet later in the week on this. This is an important development of GHRSST within the last couple of years. There's now an updated architecture document. It's available from the GHRSST webpage. I encourage you to take a look. So there's now a new framework of the RGTS involving all GHRSST data producers and distributors. So now we just have data assembly centres rather than regional data assembly centres. You might have heard people refer to RDACs through the week. We actually now you have DACs and GHRSST data producers. And the GHRSST data specification is available from that link. So if you're interested in seeing how GHRSST data specification is organised, you can take a read of that document. The GHRSST Central Catalogue, again, this has been something that's been implemented in the last couple of years. And again, Jean-Francois will give us more detail later in the week. Yeah, okay, thanks. So GHRSST pioneered a regional global task sharing framework which uses a scientifically and technically feasible strategy to acquire existing SST data products and adds additional information and creates a new generation of products in a common format. So the GHRSST Central Catalogue is now available. It's been going under a period of population over the last few months. It's open and available. You can go to the GHRSST webpage and click on and you can see it. It's still not complete, so there's quite a few GHRSST data producers that are still in the processing of populating the catalogue and adding their products. So I would encourage you, if you haven't done that already, to to take a look, and if you've got any questions, come back to Chiara or Jean-Francois. We hope to have the catalogue as complete as possible in a short time frame so that we can start to publicise it a bit more. And obviously it would be nice if it was complete. This is just an example of what it looks like. But yeah, you can go to the link yourself from this presentation or take a look at the web page. So meeting user needs. So over the last few years, we had a white paper in 2019 looking at user-driven priorities for SST observations, and we've been discussing those on a yearly basis since then. At the moment, there are three main priorities: improving data quality in the Arctic, improving coastal SST data quality, and improving SST feature resolution. So we will have a workshop on Friday where we will discuss these points more. There's already a Miro board open to collect these points. Chiara has already advertised the link. It's also in the agenda. So if you've got anything you'd like to point, you can just add a sticky note to the Miro board. All thoughts are welcome here. The CIOS SST virtual constellation, I already mentioned this, is led by Ed and Christo, and it's also represented by the various space agencies that are participating in CIOS. So I'd just like to say I hope you all enjoyed the meeting. Thank you very much, and yeah, here are the links. And finally, thank you once more to ISRO for hosting the symposium. Thank you to everyone involved that's been involved. It's been a really great organisation, and we really appreciate all your hospitality. We also have the virtual meeting where there are lots of people signed up online, so I hope we've had a few teething problems, but I hope that all goes now smoothly. And thank you also to the GRIS Project Office team, especially to Chiara and Erica and the UMETSAT team for the online meeting organisation. Thank you.